Okay, I just wanted to give you a big picture about the spinal cord, nerves, and whatnot. So I'm just gonna try to draw it, and I think it's the best if you try to draw it too. And I'm sure you can do a better job than me. Okay, so I will explain what these are in a second. Okay. So this is the column. This is the back, posterior, dorsal, whatever you want to call that. So call it dorsal. I'm just gonna do one side of it, so the left side. So just gonna open up this. Seems to be right, but no, this is left. Because I'm looking from the top. That doesn't matter really. So let me just do one path. You just, if I were you, I would just follow whatever I'm doing, and it would hopefully make sense soon. So you would connect these here, right? And then you would separate them like such. One of them is better to be larger, right? And then if you want to do a little bit more, you can do this. It's probably too much, but for now I'm just gonna leave it like that. So we have a dorsal. So on the dorsal side, so on this side, okay, from here all the way to here is called dorsal root, right? See, and what we have is, this is what we have. We have the sensory. So just for fun, I'm gonna draw two sensory. So as you know, the nucleus of the sensory is in dorsal root ganglion. So if you have a lot of a nucleus of neurons in PNS, so peripheral nervous system, it would be called ganglion. So this is dorsal root ganglion. Hopefully the spelling is not too far off. So as I said, I'm going to draw two things, two sensory. Now this side, so from here to here, okay, I think the ink is okay. So this is called spinal nerve, right? This piece here is called ventral root. So or frontal root, I've never heard that, but it's possible to say it as that. So again, this part would be spinal nerve, right? Now this piece, it would be dorsal, what am I writing? Sorry. It would be called dorsal ramus, whatever makes you happier. This piece and onwards would be ventral ramus, right? So again, whatever you have before they join, so this is where they're going to join, the dorsal and ventral, they're going to join in here. It's some sort of root, right? When they are one, it's called the spinal nerve, right? So the nerve is a bundle of axons, right? in PNS, right? So spinal nerve, and anything after that nerve would be a ramus, or if there are a few of them, we call it rami, whatever. Now, let's draw. So we took care of the sensory. So this, what do you call that color? Pink was sensory, and they come from dorsal horn. So I call this. Let's call that dorsal horn. So if you notice, anything on that side would be some sort of dorsal. Anything on this side would be some sort of ventral. So the motor neurons would be called ventral, and they start here, and they just keep going. So again, I'm going to draw two of them. 1, 2, right? Now, these, okay, clarify one more thing. If I draw a dot, that means that's the nucleus. This is not me, I think that's the standard. And this side, the end, this is the whatever axon, like the end of it. So this is the axon. This is the axon bouton or whatever. Just axon terminal, whatever, many names for it. So that's just the standard. So I'm gonna erase this because I don't need this. Okay. So now let me draw one more thing, or should I stop for now? Let me just explain one thing. So the dorsal root, I'm talking about this fellow, only contains sensory information, right? Sensory. The spinal nerve can have sensory or motor. So spinal nerve is this one, right? It can have both of them. So you have pink and you have blue, right? Now, so spinal nerve, it doesn't care if it goes to ventral ramus or dorsal ramus. It doesn't matter, right? All of them would pass the spinal nerve, right? Even the sympathetic stuff. But the dorsal ramus, okay, and the dorsal ramus, I'm talking about this guy. The dorsal ramus can have sensory or motor as well, but to specific parts of the body, only like the back muscles and skin in the back or whatever, not all the back muscles, like the deep back muscles, I think that's what they're called, just a few things. The ventral ramus, so this guy, it would have sensory and motor to most of the body, and that's why this one is larger, right? And for the sympathetic, we know it starts from we call it the lateral horn. So I think this is too long. Let me just make it, yeah, so something here. But no, these, sorry, I'm jumping back. So for sensory, the nucleus is here, right? It's not in the ventral ramus, no, right? Okay. So now I want to do the sympathetic. So sympathetic would start from here. It would use the ventral root, and so it would go here. Oh, not that. That's not what I meant. So it would go here. So this guy is called, the second one is called the white ramus or ramus or whatever. The first one is called gray ramus, right? So what happens there is actually a few scenarios we can have. I'm just gonna explain one. So what happens is, so note, we're starting lateral horn, we're coming with the axon, and then this is one of the paths, synapse here, so, and it would start like, so the next one, or post synaptic ganglion, post ganglionic neuron for sympathetic, right? So it would go through the gray ramus and it goes to different parts of the body, right? Well, if you want to be too technical, there is another path here, but who cares? I mean, you may care, but I just want to give you a big picture. So the whole point is, when we talk about ventral root, we could have motor or sympathetic, right? When we talk about the dorsal root, we can only have sensory. When we talk about spinal nerve, you can have absolutely everything. If you want to have, if you talk about the dorsal ramus, well, you see, you're going to have specific sensory or motor. You talk about ventral ramus, you can have specific sensory or motor or sympathetic, right? So that's it. Just, well, don't want to make it too long, but this guy, right? This is called the like there is a chain here, right? It's called sympathetic ganglion. So why is it called ganglion? Same reason this one was called ganglion, because it's groups of nuclei outside the CNS or in the PNS, so we just call them sympathetic chain, and they're just outside the spinal cord. And the one thing is, this is not the only path again. This green guy, well, talking about this one, this could go up and synapse higher or even lower in some places, or it could even just not synapse at all and just go somewhere else, like some other parts of the body, and synapse there. So the presynaptic could go even past the sympathetic ganglion chain or whatever sympathetic chain and never synapse. So that's a possibility too, but just a big picture.